All right, thank you so much for the feedback. I'm having some issues with the laptop. I'm trying to connect with my laptop, but it doesn't seem to be working. Therefore, I am connecting myself with the cell phone, and I'm still trying and see if there's anything I can do to show and or share with you a slide that I have here. In terms of connecting this second part of the session for the ELT125, section 2, right, on this September the 30th, I think the last day of September, right? Do you have any questions about the previous session? Do you have anything that was not clear? Anything that you would like to go deeper into? Anything that you would like to ask Ms. Javiera? Because you know, she's here, so. Okay.
Not for the moment, at least.
All right. All right. So we're going to hang out a little bit about with the syllable, a little bit, right? The syllable is the next step, the next stage when we are discussing sounds, because we started dealing with isolated sounds or phonemes during the first semester, and now we are dealing with the syllables, right? And then we're going to see how stress makes one of the syllables in a word more prominent, and also shifting the stress may also have an impact on the meaning of the word. For example, in the word inside and insight, we can see also that the lexical stress may change the part of speech. We may be using a noun stressing the first syllable and a verb stressing the second one. And also that whenever we have a word that is composed by a root and prefixes and suffixes, we might have differences in terms of stress. I think I connected myself to a meeting using the laptop, and I think I'm the only one in this meeting. So let me see if I can find the right meeting. Hopefully, okay, I'm going to join this meeting. There are 6 people. I think this is the one in which you are. Yay, finally found it. Okay. Can you listen now, guys? I'm testing the laptop now. I finished the...
Clearly.
Thank you so much. I finished the connection with the with the cell phone. So let's talk a little bit about the syllable, just enough for you to understand not only the structure, but also the constituents, right? The constituents in general, I would say, refers to the concepts of onset, nucleus, and coda, among other ways to call them, right? But in general, several authors use these terms: onset, nucleus, and coda. Others, right, may prefer different combinations. And the syllable, as Ms. Javiera Cabeza was saying, right, has a structure, and the structure can be referred to using the letters C and V, C standing for consonant and V standing for vowel. And using this classification, referring to the structure of the syllable, we can refer to the syllables, right, as open and closed, and also as light and heavy. This is what you covered, right, in the previous session with Miss Javiera Cabeza. And sorry. So a syllable seems to be quite an easy unit to grasp, but it's a complex to divide. I'm sorry, I'm skipping some slides because I want to go to the sonority theory and to the maximum onset principle. Are you familiar with the sonority theory, also called sonority hierarchy theory?
No.
No? So this theory, which is called sonority theory or a sonority hierarchy, let me see if I can remember the spelling of this complex word. Hierarchy, sonority hierarchy theory, refers to the arrangement of the sounds in a syllable. In a syllable, you always know that you need to have a nuclear element or a peak, right, which is the loudest element in the syllable. Actually, the syllables can, the nucleus can stand on itself, right? We can have only one vowel sound, one syllable, right? The onset and the coda, that is the consonant sounds that go before and the consonant sounds that go after the nucleus, are actually optional. They depend on the type of syllable, right? So how do we arrange these sounds is what this theory tries to explain. And this theory uses a sonority scale, right? A sonority scale, grading the sounds according to how loud they are, how sonorous they are. We can see in the next slide, in this arrow, right, the sonority value assigned, right, to each one of these group of words, each one of these groups of sounds. This scale gives 5 to vowel sounds, because vowel sounds, when they are articulated, they are produced without friction, without obstruction of the airflow. The airflow leads freely the vocal tract when you're producing vowel sounds. Of course, some vowel sounds are louder than others. For example, ah would be louder than e, basically because of the openness, right, or how open your jaws are. When you say ah, you open more, right? You open wider, and when you say e, it's not so wide. But in terms of obstruction, there isn't obstruction produced by the tongue, produced by the teeth, produced by the tongue touching a certain area in the upper section of the vocal cavity, right? So the vowel sounds are the loudest of all these phonemes. They receive a number 5 in this sonority scale. Then a number 4 is assigned to the liquids. The liquids, and because basically you place the tongue, you touch the alveolar ridge, or you curled it back, and the airflow escapes either through the sides when you produce or over the top when you produce and almost no friction or obstruction is produced. So liquids are closer to being the loudest, and they receive a score 4. And number 3 is given to nasals. Okay, and number 2 is given to fricatives, because there's more friction when you produce okay, as there's more friction, they are less audible, they're less loud, okay? And finally, a number 5 is given to or assigned to stops or plosives because the airflow is a stop. So therefore, they are the least loud of all these bunch of phonemes. Okay, so this theory tries to explain that in a syllable, you place the nucleus, right? You place the nucleus, for example, a. And if you have to decide, right, between a fricative, for example, and a nasal, okay, the one that's going to be placed closer to the nucleus is going to be the nasal. I'm making up a word, right? And the one farther away is going to be the fricative. Okay? The same thing in the coda. If we have a nucleus, a vowel sound, right? The one that's going to be and then, sorry, internet connection.
Let me stop camera. All right.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you but twice, like from two different devices.
How about now? Much better?
Still, like
okay.
Echo.
Echo, yeah? Still there? Is there still echo now?
Now is more okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So okay, and so in the last part we have the nucleus in between a liquid and a stop. The liquid will be closer, and then, for example, the stop will be in next place. Okay. It's like, and I may repeat this. Probably Javiera has heard it before. It's like taking a picture and deciding which friends are closer to you in the picture. If your friends, if you invited your friends, the vowels, the liquids, nasals, fricatives, and stops, they are different groups of friends of yours, and you're taking a picture. The ones that are going to be close to you, the vowel, right, are going to be the liquids, and next to the liquids, the nasals. And then the fricatives, and farther away, the stops almost are not going to appear in the picture because they're going to be very far from you, the vowel sound, the nucleus. So that's basically the arrangement that this sonority theory is proposing. Does this theory account or explain every single case of how syllables are distributed or arranged? No, that's not true. Okay, it's just one theory that explains how are distributed in terms of sonority, right? How sonorous or how loud the phonemes are. Okay, and I don't know if if this theory is clear. Is it clear for you so far?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, kind of, right? For example, in the word, sometimes sometimes you can see that it explains. Sometimes you see that it's basically not accounting for 100% of the cases. Let's suppose we have the word train, and we have the nucleus here, train, right? That's the nucleus. And we see two consonant sounds in the onset. And next to the nucleus, we can see a liquid, right? And then we have a stop, okay? So in this case, in this particular case, we can see that this word, which is at the same time one syllable, because you see there is a nucleus, ter and are part of the onset, and here we have the coda composed by one consonant sound, right? In this CCVC, right? Word. We can see that, yeah, it's actually could be explained through the sonority theory, right? But it's not always the case, okay? So it's just a theory. Another important or relevant concept is the maximum onset principle, also known as, the acronym MOP, which is quite related with the sonority hierarchy or sonority theory. According to this maximum principle, right? If you have a sound, for example, if you have a consonant sound, which is placed next to two vowel sounds, right? I'm supposing that this one is part of one syllable and that one is another syllable, okay? So whenever you have an intervocalic consonant, a consonant which is placed in between two vowel sounds, right? You know that whenever there is a vowel sound, we have a nucleus and we have a syllable, basically. So this consonant sound, should be placed as the coda of the syllable in the right, or should be placed as the onset as the next syllable. Should we divide this as this? Or should we divide this as this? Okay, in the first case, as the coda, or in the second case, as the onset. Okay, as the onset. According to this theory, whenever possible, you should consider this intervocalic consonants as part of the onset, rather than the coda. Whenever there's no violation of the sonority hierarchy of what was expressed in the previous slide. Okay? So whenever you have this doubt and you are in the process of syllabification, you're syllabifying a word, you consider this intervocalic consonant as part of the onset instead of the coda. Okay? As the second example, and not as the first one. Okay? In this case, we have the example extra, which can be transcribed as it is right there, right? Extra. And we can see that the word can be syllabified as here, in the first case. It could be extra, it could be extra, or it could be extra. Now, if you pay attention to this third example, the combination of ext is quite strange in a language, and it's quite strange in English. It's a very difficult cluster of consonants to be valid in English. Okay, so that I would not say it's a proper way to syllabify this word. Okay, kst, ext, it's really difficult to say, all right? And in the second case, sorry, right here, we have x, which could be possible, Now, where should we place this? Should we place it as part of the coda of the first syllable, or should we place it as the onset of the second syllable? So according to the theory, to the maximum onset principle, whenever possible, we should consider this as part of the onset. So I would say that in this case, right, and not in this case, because whenever you combine the cluster s, t, and in English, that's something possible. There are several words that can test that, right? When you say strange, string, strong, street, that combination is possible in English. So this is quite correct, okay? The second option is not wrong, but according to the maximum onset principle, try to attach or try to add any consonant sound that is in between two syllables as the onset, right here, as the onset, rather than the coda. That's why this combination right here is possible, is valid. Okay? An example / exercise, destruction. How will you syllabify it? Where would you divide this? Where will you place the syllable boundary? This dot, right, that we place to separate the syllables, that we can call it syllable boundary. Where would you place it? How many syllables can you see, and where would you divide? Where would you divide them?
Could be D.
Okay, D. Right there.
Then in shin.
And then shin. Okay. Is everyone happy with that? Do you have any other options? Excellent. Destruction. Probably in Spanish we could say destruction, right? So we could say that this could go in the first syllable, but according to this theory, we can attach it to the combination stir because it's allowed in English. Okay. Enormous. What do you think? Enormous. Enormous. First, how many syllables do we have?
3.
3, right? Enormous.
So in E,
Mm-hmm.
you can divide it syllabified. In E.
Syllabified. Mm-hmm. E.
Then nor.
Nor, all right.
Mess.
Mess, all right. Enormous. Primary stress on the first, second, or third in the first syllable. Enormous.
I think that it's
second one.
On the second one, all right. On the second one, enormous. Gosh, we have the word exactly below. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm sorry about that. But basically, we have E. Let me get this out of the way. This is the analysis that you did, right? E, nor, must. Okay. I'm going to, or I have to. Sorry about this. Perfect. This introvocalic consonant sound, right, placed between E and O, is placed in the second syllable, as part of the onset of the second syllable. The primary stress is placed before the second syllable. You don't need to place this dot here, this syllable boundary here, because a primary stress is always placed at the beginning of a syllable. So if you place this, it implies that this is a different syllable, right? So this syllable boundary is not necessary, it's optional. Excellent. What do you think?
It is. I have a question.
Okay.
The word enormous got the pref suffix, right? Oh,
Come again,
it's a
please.
suffix. The
No,
word
it's not.
enormous. Enormous
No,
suffix?
it's not.
Because I
No.
thought like the suffix attached the stress to the previous syllable. I was thinking about that.
Good question, because in general, prefixes are separated from the root as one syllable. So we consider them like, for example, in inhabilitate, or let's think about other prefixes that means the opposite. Irregular, regular, irregular. Legal, illegal. Okay. In all these cases, the prefix is separated as one single syllable. But in this case, we don't have, as far as I know, right, we don't have a prefix. Good question, though. Yeah. Excellent. What do you think? Let me show you the transcription. Let's see if you agree or disagree. Yes, no, it sounds stupid. I completely agree with this. What do you think?
I think it's okay.
All right. All right. Excellent. So we have this intervocalic consonant sound. That's part of the onset of the third syllable and not the coda of the second syllable, right? So far, the theory is working, but I tell you, doesn't account for 100% of the cases, right? We have a very short exercise that we can work with as a group, unless you want to work with this individually, of course, and then we can revise and share your answers and results. For this specific activity, you need to syllabify the words and then identify the primary stress. Syllabify the words and then identify the primary stress. Let me give you the first one as an example. The first one was syllabified into two syllables, right? Here's the syllable boundary. Minus. Okay? The primary stress is on the first syllable. And as you can see, is in between the two peaks, right? I and and it's part of the onset of the second syllable. Minus. Okay. We can go deeper if you want. We can say, okay, this is a light and or heavy syllable. This is open and closed. But the idea first is to work on the syllable division and then on the primary stress. All right, so how would you like to work with this? Would you like to work with this individually or as a group, as a class?
I wish as a class. I wish.
Yeah, me too. As a group.
Okay. All right, we've got two opinions. Fair enough. So the word animal. We're going to see that sometimes this maximum onset principle is achieved, sometimes it's not, okay? But never despair. Never, do not get disappointed if it doesn't, right? And animal, what do you think? Is it a, ni, male, like this? Or do you think right there? Do you agree with this?
No.
No. So what do you think?
I think that the first syllable is already A. I mean, any. The consonant should be go in the second syllable.
Okay, all right. So it's not an, it's a, ni. Can you check up this word in an online dictionary? Do you have that possibility? And see how this word is syllabified.
It's right in Cambridge Dictionary.
Okay.
It's like that, as in the presentation.
The maximum
Interesting,
answer
right?
principle failed me.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. First heartbroken. Okay, let's go on. You need to move on. It's not you. It's the maximum onset principle, right? It's not you. So, where would you place the syllable division or syllable boundary in the next word, number 3? Before, could it be like this? No? Maybe like this?
It could be.
Okay.
But I was thinking like maybe Q, right? But it sounds like weird. Too many.
Let's take a look. Too many?
Vowels. Too many
Many
vowels,
vowels,
if
right?
I say Q.
Correct.
What?
Correct. Correct. Not very frequent word to find, but I'm sure the next one you will do quite fine. What do you think about the next one? Where should we place the syllable division? The syllable boundary.
Sit.
Before the S.
Right here?
Yes.
Let's take a look. All right. It took me a while to realize that it was correct. I'm sorry for the late feedback. Yes, excellent. Plosive. The next one, number 5. Unexpected. Some people may use a schwa, right? Unexpected schwa at the end. But anyway.
Maybe before the end. After the end.
Okay.
And then between the S and the P.
Okay.
And the K and the T.
Okay. Are you all happy with this?
I don't know, but I would put the second syllable between the k and s.
Between k and s, right here.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look. All right. All right. First of all, you both identify this prefix, right? So it was separated. It was divided. It was syllabified first syllable, un. And the combination of sp, it is allowed in English, right? Sp. We can find spectacular or sponsor or speak or spy, right? The combination is allowed. The combination kus, as if we think the second syllable as being x, this cluster is not so common as this cluster, right? That's more common in English. Sp than x. So that's the sort of explanation to find s and p as the onset of the second syllable, and k as part of the coda. Ik. Okay. Establish. By the way, primary stress, third syllable in the word number 5. Unexpected. Number 6, establish. What do you think? Specifically this one, right? T. Where should we attach it? Should we consider the onset of the second syllable or the coda of the first one?
The onset.
The onset? Okay.
And then the other one would be bullish.
Bullish. Okay. Are you all happy? Do you all agree?
Yes.
Okay. Take a leap of faith. Uh-oh. Okay.
I'm not happy.
Yeah, I know. It's really not always. It doesn't work always like we want, right? If we focus on the second syllable, the combination s and t is allowed in English, right? So this can be a nucleus that stands on itself. It doesn't need any answer or coda, just one vowel sound as a nucleus. And in here, we see the maximum onset principle, right? We see that s could have been attached as the coda of the first syllable, but instead is attached as the onset of the second syllable, as this cluster is allowed in English. Okay, stab. Now, b, yes, could be part of the last syllable, blish, blue, black, blur, bull. This D graph, it's an allowed combination, right? So this have no 100% accurate explanation, because there are possible words. I mean, there are words containing this possible combination: bull, blish. All right. So yeah, it could have been syllabified considering b as the onset of the third syllable. Instead, it's considered as part of the coda of the second syllable. No exact science, right? Illegal, what do you think? Illegal. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Legal. 3 syllables.
Mm-hmm.
So I would divide it like that. Illegal. illegal.
Okay. Illegal. Specific. 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 I guess the only problem is here. What do you think? Mm-hmm.
It would be in the second syllable and the F in the third syllable. So there would be 3 syllables.
Okay, let's take a look. There are 3 syllables,
But the F.
but the F is attached. Yeah. It's the coda, not the onset of the third syllable. Specific. Okay.
How can we know when it should be onset or coda?
In this case, we need to pay attention to the word and consider if it is a word containing a suffix. Is specific a word containing a suffix? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess.
So in general, words containing a suffix, the suffix should be separated for us as different syllable, as a syllable that stands on its own. So that could be an option to consider. Whenever you have a word containing a suffix or a prefix, separate the prefix or syllable in a different one. The prefix or suffix into a separate or different syllable. Sorry. And let me propose number 9 with this syllabification. Do you agree or disagree with this?
I think it's okay.
All right. All right. If you look at the last syllable, we could think that international. We could maybe think that null could be the last syllable, right? Containing a CVC structure, right? But then you have the word nation, and national, L would be a suffix, right? So that's why this suffix is considered as one syllable, L, okay? Nation, national, okay? The other possibility, okay, first we have inter, which is, you know, a word, international. It's composed by these 2 words, international. Inter can be divided into 2 syllables. So I think that part is should be clear, right? Inter. I wouldn't consider to have the first syllable as this, and then a schwa as part of a second syllable. So I think that first part should be clear. The problem could be to consider whether sh part of the coda of the third syllable or part of the onset of the fourth syllable. So nay, and then have shun, right? That probably could be the only issue in the syllable division, because the last one is a suffix. The previous word is a word that can be divided into 2, each one containing a nucleus right? And having a structure VC and CV. So I guess this is the only complex thing here, Nash. Is it nation or, sorry, nation or nation? That's a trick because according to the maximum onset theory or principle, this should be placed as part of the onset of the fourth syllable. But again, as I said before, it is just a theory, and it doesn't account for every single case. Okay, it's just for you to know. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be ongoing assessment. There will be assessment connected to the listening, writing, and speaking skills. Okay, the evaluations will be given next week. I'm still deciding on the day. They won't be taken during the class. They will be taken. They will be available for you during the whole day. Might be. What's your Monday like? Is Monday for you a busy day? Because I'm thinking about Monday or Tuesday. Do you have a busy Monday or a busy Tuesday?
I would prefer Tuesday.
Tuesday. And? Okay, so I think Cristóbal was saying Tuesday, and Patricio?
Yeah, I think that Tuesday it's okay.
Sebastián, Claudia, Amaya, if you have a working microphone?
Yes, for me it's okay too.
Okay. Tuesday. Okay. Same procedure. The evaluations are going to be short, are going to be in the LMS, in the tab that says evaluations, right? They will be available starting at 8:30 in the morning up to probably midnight. Okay, you can take the evaluation at any moment, and they're going to be focused on listening, speaking, and writing. The listening and writing quizzes or evaluations will be very short and connected with lexical stress, I would say. Okay, lexical stress. So check everything that is available in the LMS and also whatever resource you get found. And we're not going to consider the syllable for these first evaluations, all right? And for the speaking skill, I will post the instructions along with the rubric in the LMS. And for the speaking part or component, you will have to record a specific section, right? A specific passage that I'm going to post. Amaya? Amaya, you were raising your hand. All right.
Yes.
Yes, I'm listening.
Hi. I was really like is this Tuesday or is the next? I was trying to ask earlier about my microphone that so I can
You are muted, teacher.
Sorry. Yes, sorry. I was having a hard time. Is either my internet connection or Amaya's microphone, but I couldn't understand. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. Can you repeat the question or type it in the chat box, please?
I will type in the chat.
Thank you, Maya. I'm sorry, but that's the thing with technology. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hinders the process of communicating with each other. Any questions, Claudia?
I have one question. I couldn't hear
Alison?
very well the contents of the next evaluation.
The content is stress, lexical stress, or word stress, which is the same idea.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Check the resources in the LMS. We haven't covered everything in class because, you know, at the university level, you're expected to also read a bit more. But Amaya says, no, we are discussing Tuesday, Amaya. I said Monday or Tuesday. Not Thursday, Amaya. Sorry for the misunderstanding. Tuesday. And so lexical stress, there are some general rules in a PowerPoint presentation that apply to nouns, two-syllable nouns and three-syllable words. And then there's also rules that are applied to words that contain prefixes and or suffixes. In general, compound nouns placed the stress on the first component, right? Remember the examples: language teacher, and not language teacher, right? Bathroom and not bathroom. Now, there are compound adjectives in which the process is the other way around. You stress the second element, okay? And I left some material in the LMS. Let me see if I can show you, but it's basically in the first part. It's in the first part of the LMS, okay? You can find it right there. And I think we're not going to include syllables because syllables require more practice, and there are many rules that can be applied, but also there are very many exceptions. So we're not going to include syllables in this occasion, right? And Tuesday, as I mentioned, as a day in which the evaluations will be available the whole day, starting at 8:30 up to midnight. They're going to be short, so I would say that for the listening and the writing evaluations, probably you're going to take between 10 to 15 minutes each, okay? And the speaking skill will be assessed through a recording that you will have to record during next week. You don't have to necessarily send it on Tuesday, okay? I think you can take up to 3 days because it's going to be a short paragraph, okay? It's not going to be a 1 or 2 page assignment. It's going to be one paragraph. You will be required to record yourselves and send it through the LMS as you have done before. Okay? And that's going to be the end of the session. Any comments or questions that were left unanswered?
I got one question, teacher. Is
Yes,
it
Sebastian.
assessment week or a quiz, this evaluation?
The thing is that this module does not follow the evaluation set that has that it's used or exercised in the courses from second year on, because those courses have like major evaluations that are quite heavy, scheduled on first assessment week and second assessment week, and they have less or lighter evaluations called ongoing assessment or quizzes, spread throughout the semester. This syllabus contains evaluations that focus on one specific learning outcome, and the learning outcome is defined as if the student knows or does not know a particular content, and if the student is able or not to apply the content to a specific exercise or context. Therefore, the idea here is to assess if you are able or not, for example, to identify where or which syllable is the most prominent in a word, and basically what are some of that can be applied when you are placing the stress on a syllable. Okay, so there's going to be, we can have one big evaluation or one small evaluation, but pointing to the same content. So in this case, this is an evaluation that it's going to be addressing this specific content and specific competence, right? So we are not necessarily going to have an evaluation on assessment. That's my point. Okay, my point is we might have one evaluation scheduled during the assessment week, but since we're not following the same structure for evaluations as the second year, third, fourth, and fifth year students, or in those modules, we're going to have evaluations at different times. So this is going to be an evaluation that deals with lexical stress, and then we're going to have another evaluation that deals with syllables, and then another one dealing with I don't know, concepts like strong and weak forms. Okay, so not necessarily the assessment week is going to be a moment on which we're going to group all the evaluations. We're going to spread them according to the content, not specifically on these dates, which is quite also optional for teachers to join these sessions. Teachers, for each one of the courses, define whether they schedule the assessment or the evaluations during the assessment week or not. That's the one of the decisions that the teachers have to make when it comes to evaluations. Okay, so that's basically the explanation. We're not going to have all the evaluations during the assessment week because we're having some before. We may have one, maybe, but not all of them. We're not having a listening, a writing, and speaking activity during the assessment week. Okay. What we could do is we can take a look at the syllabus again next session, and then probably we could take a look at the moment during the semester in which we're going to have assessment, and we're going to see that sometimes they don't match the assessment week. So it's important to, in this case, to keep on studying, not to wait till the last minute. I'm not giving pop quizzes. I'm not surprising you with evaluations. I'm going to tell you when we're having evaluations, but not necessarily they are going to be during the assessment week, okay? So that's important to remember. I think it's very important for us to revise again the syllabus, because then we eliminate surprises, and also we're going to see roughly when we are going to have evaluations, so you get ready for them, okay? When and what is going to be evaluated. No surprises, I think it's much more better, right? And no pop quizzes in this course, but you have to keep on studying and not wait till the assessment week, which was something that was happening quite frequently in students in second year, fourth and fifth years. In general, I would say that that was a case that I could see many times. I'm sorry for the long answer, and I promise to be brief next time. And I think it's good to take a look at the syllabus and to clarify these by looking at the syllabus, and maybe you can take notes about the dates, and we all take notes about the dates, so everything is clear. We can have this conversation again next time we meet. That would be on Thursday, right?
Friday?
On Friday? Yes, you're totally right. On Friday, okay? Can we have this conversation again at the beginning of Friday so we clarify things about the evaluation?
Okay.
All right? All right, guys, ladies, gentlemen, Ms. Javiera Cabeza, it was good to see you and talk to you. I'll see you on, I'll see you on Friday, and Ms. Javiera Cabeza, I think the following week. Is that so?
Yes.
All right. All righty. Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful day. A wonderful
Bye,
cool
teacher.
day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye, Ms. Javiera.